stay quiet for fear of hurting you, for fear of losing you. And I both know that lately when we talk we get confused, so I choose to stay quiet for fear of hurting you, for fear of losing you. And I both know that
It's been forever.
we may have grown apart, but we have grown nonetheless. And we can start again, and then at last we can be genuine. Please be genuine. You and I both know that. What do I give? How do I live in this life of ours? All I know is that I take plenty from here under the stars. I won't revive, I won't relive. I accept what I've done and I forgive. What do I give? How do I live in this life of ours? All I know is that I take plenty from here under the stars. I won't revive, I won't relive. I accept what I've done and I forgive. What do I give? How do I live in this life of ours? All I know is that I take plenty from here under the stars. I won't revive, I won't relive. I accept what I've done and I forgive. Nebulous days lead me to ravenous haze. Nebulous days lead me to ravenous haze, which will block my gaze. Illusory ways make feelings that don't stay. In and out they face. Is it always that? My tangible wishes are just out of reach. Nebulous days lead me to ravenous haze, which will block my gaze. Illusory ways make feelings that don't stay. In and out they face. Is it always that? My tangible wishes are just out of reach.
やれやれ。退屈だと言って何も行動せず刺激を求める割には挑戦しない。
Feelings that don't stay. Feelings that don't stay. Feelings that don't stay.
いいかい埼玉市。人生は当てのない旅だよ。新しい景色を見るためには自分で道を切り開くしかないんだ。
Is it always that? Is it always that? My tangible wishes are just out of reach. Are just out of reach. Is it always that? Is it always that? Join me for an adventure, oh, much like any other, with twists and turns and plot devices, words and wonder. Now my advice is listen close. What makes this story different is the teller and the told. This one's ours and it's waiting to unfold. So come be merry with me. Yeah. Oh, come be merry with me. Come on, be merry with me. Join me for an adventure, oh, much like any other, with twists and turns and plot devices, words and wonder. Now my advice is listen close. What makes this story different is the teller and the told. This one's ours and it's waiting to unfold.
What's shaking? Welcome. Hey Coleman. Good to see you here, dude. Much love to all my my wildflowers out there. I hope your day has been going super duper splendid, and it's good to be here. Have a little banana because I'm working hard today, so I might be a little bit sore tomorrow, but with this banana's power, I will hopefully not be sore. Heck yeah. We had a momentous day yesterday. We finished up a book. And now we have this little puppy to jump into. I'm quite excited. Oh, no way. Brown? Guys. Oh my, dude, I'm actually ecstatic about this. Look at that. I mean, I remember taking off like the little flimsy cover of the other one and being super impressed, but I thought they all were gonna be that blue color. This one is brown. I love it. Dude, look at it. It's got that nice gold, yeah, nice gold, what do you call it? The spine of the book. Heck, what am I saying? It's got the gold lettering on the spine. Some good stuff. Well, let's dig into this brown book, shall we? I'm quite excited. I hope you guys are. Are we all ready to get schmoovin' and groovin'? I know, dude. Fancy schmancy. Some Scylla and what? For some reason your Keaton, for some reason your message popped up on like, because I monitor my stream on another computer over there, but I also have it here in Streamlabs, but it didn't show up in Streamlabs. Oh, here it is. Heck yeah. It's on my stream manager though. Oh yeah. Yo, is that some Scylla and Charybdis I see on the cover? Yeah. You know it is, dude. Well, I am pretty darn stoked. I say we jump on in to Patrick John Riordan, the best storyteller in the family. Looks like we got 20 chapters to look forward to for this one. Not quite 22, but hey, still quite exciting. I think this one actually is a little shorter than the first one. Were they from Jason and the Argonauts of the Odyssey? Were what from? The big Cyclops man? I know he was in the Odyssey. Cyclops man was in the Odyssey, I'm almost sure. Not sure about Argonauts though. Scylla and Charybdis. I actually don't know who those are. Are you talking about these little goobers on the side there? Like the little snake doodads? 'Cause I thought that was a Hydra or something. Oh, alright. They have names. Heck yeah. Scylla and Charybdis. I feel like those would make good rapper names. Well, okay guys. Let's pause the jams and get schmovin'. The Hydra is just Scylla. Oh, and Charybdis is the Cyclops boy. The big old Clops man. Nice. Well, heck yeah. Oh, without further ado, let's start this new book. You can see Charybdis is on the cover, but hiding in plain sight. So he's not the giant Cyclops man. Though that would be hiding a little in plain sight. Oh, is Charybdis under the water? That'd be cool. Okay. This is Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. My best friend shops for a wedding dress. My nightmare started like this. I was standing on a deserted street in some little beach town. It was the middle of the night. A storm was blowing. Wind and rain ripped at the palm trees along the sidewalk. Pink and yellow stucco buildings lined the street, their windows all boarded up. A block away, past a line of hibiscus bushes, the ocean churned. Florida, I thought, though I wasn't sure how I knew that. I'd never been to Florida. Then I heard hooves clattering against the pavement. I turned and saw my friend Grover running for his life. Yeah, I said hooves. Grover is a satyr. From the waist up, he looks like a typical gangly teenager with a peach fuzz goatee and a bad case of acne. He walks with a strange limp, but unless you happen to catch him without his pants on, which I don't recommend, you'd never know there was anything unhuman about him. Baggy jeans and fake feet hide the fact that he's got a furry hindquarters and hooves. Grover had been my best friend in 6th grade. He'd gone on this adventure with me and a girl named Annabeth to save the world. But I hadn't seen him since last July, when he had set off alone on a dangerous quest. A quest no satyr had ever returned from. Anyway, in my dream, Grover was hauling goat tail, holding his human shoes in his hands, the way he does when he needs to move fast. He clopped past the little tourist shops and surfboard rental places. The wind bent the palm trees almost to the ground. Grover was terrified of something behind him. He must have just come from the beach. Wet sand was caked in his fur. He'd escaped from somewhere. He was trying to get away from something. A bone-rattling growl cut through the storm. Behind Grover, at the far end of the block, a shadowy figure loomed. It swatted aside a street lamp, which burst in a shower of sparks. Grover stumbled, whimpering in fear. He muttered to himself, "Have to get away! Have to warn them!" I couldn't see what was chasing him, but I could hear it muttering and cursing. The ground shook as it got closer. Grover dashed around a street corner and faltered. He'd run into a dead-end courtyard full of shops. No time to back up. The nearest door had been blown open by the storm. The sign above the darkened display window read, "St. Augustine Bridal Boutique." Grover dashed inside. He dove behind a rack of wedding dresses. The monster's shadow passed in front of the shop. I could smell the thing, a sickening combination of wet sheep wool and rotten meat, and that weird sour body odor only monsters have, like a skunk that's been living off of Mexican food. Grover trembled behind the wedding dress. The monster's shadow passed on. Silence, except for the rain. Grover took a deep breath. Maybe the thing was gone. Then lightning flashed. The entire front of the store exploded, and a monstrous voice bellowed, "Mine!" I sat bolt upright, shivering in my bed. There was no storm, no monster. Morning sunlight filtered through my bedroom through my bedroom window. I thought I saw a shadow flicker across the glass, a human-like shape. But then there was a knock on my bedroom door. My mom called. "Percy, you're going to be late." And the shadow at the window disappeared. It must have been my imagination. A fifth-story window with a rickety old fire escape. There couldn't have been anyone out there. "Come on, dear," my mother called again. "Last day of school. You should be excited. You've almost made it." "Coming," I managed. I felt under my pillow. My fingers closed reassuringly around the ballpoint pen I always slept with. I brought it out, studied the ancient Greek writing engraved on the side. Anaklusmos. Riptide. I thought about uncapping it, but something held me back. I hadn't used Riptide for so long. Besides, my mom had made me promise not to use deadly weapons in the apartment after I'd swung a javelin the wrong way and taken out her china cabinet. I put Anaklusmos on my nightstand and dragged myself out of bed. I got dressed as quickly as I could. I tried not to think about my nightmare, or monsters, or the shadow at my window. Have to get away. Have to warn them. What did Grover meant? I had a three-figured claw over my heart and pushed outward. I made a three-figured claw over my heart and pushed outward, an ancient gesture Grover had once taught me for warding off evil. The dream couldn't have been real. Last day of school. Mom was right. I should have been excited. For the first time in my life, I'd almost made it an entire year without getting expelled. No weird accidents, no fights in the classroom, no teachers turning into monsters and trying to kill me with poisoned cafeteria food or exploding homework. Tomorrow, I'd be on my way to my favorite place in the world, Camp Half-Blood. Only one more day to go. Surely even I couldn't mess that up. As usual, I didn't have a clue how wrong I was. My mom made blue waffles and blue eggs for breakfast. She's funny that way, celebrating special occasions with blue food. I think it's her way of saying anything is possible. Percy can pass 7th grade, waffles can be blue. Little miracles like that. I ate at the kitchen table with my mom, or while my mom washed dishes. She was dressed in her work uniform, a starry blue skirt and a red and white striped blouse she wore to sell candy at Sweet on America. Her long brown hair was pulled back in a ponytail. The waffles tasted great, but I guess I wasn't digging in like I usually did. My mom looked over and frowned. "Percy, are you all right?" "Yeah, fine." But she could always tell when something was bothering me. She dried her hands and sat down across from me. "School, or—" She didn't need to finish. I knew what she was thinking. "I think Grover's in trouble," I said, and I told her about my dream. She pursed her lips. We didn't talk much about the other part of my life. We tried to live as normally as possible, but my mom knew all about Grover. "I wouldn't be too worried, dear," she said. "Grover is a big satyr now. If there were a problem, I'm sure we would have heard from camp." Her shoulders tensed as she said the word camp. "What is it?" I asked. "Nothing," she said. "I'll tell you what. This afternoon, we'll celebrate the end of school. I'll take you and Tyson to Rockefeller Center, to that skateboard shop you like." Oh man, that was tempting. We were always struggling with money. Between my mom's night classes and my private school tuition, we could never afford to do special stuff like shop for a skateboard. But something in her voice bothered me. "Wait a minute," I said. "I thought we were packing me up for camp tonight." She twisted her dish rag. Dear, about that, I got a message from Chiron last night." My heart sank. Chiron was the activities director at Camp Half-Blood. He wouldn't contact us unless something serious were going on. "What did he say?" "He thinks it might not be safe for you to come back to camp just yet. We might have to postpone." "Postpone? Mom, how could it not be safe? I'm a half-blood. It's like the only safe place on Earth for me." "Usually, dear. But with the problems they're having—" "What problems?" "Percy, I'm very, very sorry. I was hoping to talk to you about it this afternoon. I can't explain it all now. I'm not even sure Chiron can. Everything happened so suddenly." My mind was reeling. How could I not go to camp? I wanted to ask a million questions. But just then, a kitchen clock chimed the half hour. My mom looked almost relieved. 7:30, dear. You should go. Tyson will be waiting." "But, Percy, we'll talk this afternoon. Go on to school." That was the last thing I wanted to do. But my mom had this fragile look in her eyes, a kind of warning, like if I pushed her too hard, she'd start to cry. Besides, she was right about my friend Tyson. I had to meet him at the subway station on time, or he'd get upset. He was scared of traveling underground alone. I gathered up my stuff, but I stopped in the doorway. "Mom, this problem at camp, could it have anything to do with my dream about Grover?" She wouldn't meet my eyes. "We'll talk this afternoon, dear. I'll explain as much as I can." Reluctantly, I told her goodbye. I jogged downstairs to catch the number 2 train. I didn't know it at the time, but my mom and I would never get the chance to have our afternoon talk. In fact, I wouldn't be seeing home for a long, long time. As I stepped outside, I glanced at the brownstone building across the street. Just for a second, I saw a dark shape in the morning light. A human silhouette against the brick wall. A shadow that belonged to no one. Then it rippled and vanished. Well, well. I want blue waffles. I had some red eggs this morning. Man, I hate when it does that. That whole, oh, but I would never have known how wrong I would be. Why were they red though? We'll talk about that after school. I'll explain the best I can. No, I'm just kidding. I put hot sauce on them. Nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary. Put some of that sauce in the egg. Oh yeah, it's a good combo. I once did ketchup and eggs. It wasn't as bad as I'd anticipated. I think it's one of those things, kind of like a banana, where the more you think about it, the more you look and contemplate the texture, you know, the worse it gets. With foods like this, you just gotta bite in and accept what comes. Solid analogy. Good job, Mitch. They do be squishy though, man. How's it going, Vic? I'm glad to see you, dude. Yeah, dude, bananas. There was definitely a period of time, at least a solid month or so, where I started to think about bananas, and I just wouldn't eat them for a straight month. They were always in the house. I had access to them at any point, but I wouldn't eat them. Heck yeah, good. Honestly, quite the banger of an intro. I felt that the intro for the first book was absolutely fantastic. I wasn't exactly sure how they would how Mr. Riordan would do with the intro for the second one, but he did quite well. Opening up with a dream sequence, that's always that tends to most of the time be an eye catcher. And especially with books like these, I don't know, I find that first chapter is very important. You know, it's the difference between whether or not the person goes to the next one and then the next, you know? I'm definitely in the group that will give a book at least 4 chapters, you know, 4 or 5 good chapters before I just set it down and decide it's not for me. But a lot of people, you know, they'll read the first few lines even and just be like, nah. Yeah, I remember learning in English class that whole, you gotta hook the reader, either starting with a question or there's something capturing, something awe-inspiring. It's important. And I think Mr. Riordan definitely did that in this one. Florida. What the heck is Grover doing in Florida? Also, what the heck has Grover been up to? You know, he went on a great quest. I kind of want that book as well. Or at the very least, I hope that they explain that. Well, I mean, I also hope that he survives in general. Because Because it seemed like he was in quite a bit of danger there. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, man. Thinking the same. Certain minds think alike. I am excited though, because I remember who Tyson is. I do. I don't know if any of you guys who have read it before remember, but I absolutely do. You chasing that nature god, dude. I know. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, Keaton. You know, Coleman? Who is Tyson? Don't ruin... Dude, Coleman, nobody look at that. How do I delete your message? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Tyson, I'm afraid, is no bison. I do apologize. I fear that he resembles not a bison. In truth, he is Mike Tyson. No, that'd be funny. What if in one of these books, like, Batman appears? It's like one of those old Scooby-Doo episodes where suddenly there's just like Batman or John Cena just moseying around, Camp Half-Blood or something. I mean, in truth though, hear me out. If the world of Percy Jackson existed, would John Cena be a half-blood? John Cena would be a demigod, right? At the very least, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would, right? We'll take you back to the Bat Cave for some bat cookies and bat milk. Dude, I want bat cookies and bat milk. But so long as it's dairy-free milk. It's got to be that good almond milk. Sorry, Batman, I'm lactose intolerant. They said George Washington was a son of Athena. Sure enough, sure enough. Yeah, I'm sure there'd be a number of, like, great folks that would be demigods. Maybe Jack Black? Son of Dionysus? Maybe. And then John Cena, I don't know about him. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson could be a son of Zeus, I feel. That's kind of fun. I like speculating what gods various celebrities would be born of. Well, also that was a short first chapter. Only 8 pages long. Or not even that, 7 pages. I'm hoping, I believe this next one is a good bit longer. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you did play Hercules. Coincidence? Coinkydink? I think not. All right, guys. Well, heck of an opening. I'm sad about Percy not getting to have that afternoon chat. That worries me a lot. I don't want anything else to happen to that poor sweet Mrs. Jackson. Honest to goodness. I guess it's good that even though she did like evaporate and wind up in Hades, she didn't really suffer, right? She just kind of was frozen for a bit. I guess that's not that bad. But still. She had to go like a solid few months without even seeing her son. And I mean, the struggles that she's been through in general. Like with freaking smelly Gabe. Don't even get me started. Well, all right, guys. I'm excited for this next chapter. We're gonna take our little 5-minute break here, and be back with chapter 2 of Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. I'm quite excited. I'm excited for you guys to meet Tyson, though, at the very least. I won't spoil anything, but there's something to Tyson. There's something deeper. That's all I'll say. Don't want to spoil too much. Okay, guys, I encourage everybody to stand up out of their chairs, do a little bit of stretching during the break, go take a breath of the night air, something along those lines. Just get yourself out, shake out the troubles and the worries. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Don't go nowhere. And I love you, my wildflowers. I pray you have an excellent break. I hope to see you in about 5 minutes. I'll be playing a few of the songs I made a long time ago, or kind of just in my history of making music. If you want to stick around and listen to those, cool beans. Otherwise, get up, stretch it out, use the bathroom, get some snacks, all that good stuff. All right. See you guys very, very soon.
Persisting heaviness feels like pouring rain. Why must you persist? Oh, heaviness feels like pouring rain. Holding up this weight, this weight might break. This weight might break me. I stopped answering calls. Had to get more involved with finding myself. I'm two hands away from flowers at my funeral. Here lies the main. I'm two hands away from eulogies, but I don't wanna die today. You would say he's too young to be a martyr. Never got the chance to live free of the trauma. Never trusted him unless it was his father. Hope it's true what they said about karma. Cause I'm a degenerate and my meds don't work. I'm always skipping school cause Jack is on my shirt. I act up cause my liver only keeps getting so worse. And I act up cause all my friends keep taking rides in a hearse. So fuck church, I'm hurt, that burnt, need more paranoid. Don't lose faith in me, boy, I'm annoyed. I avoid and I'm sorry that I toyed with your heart. We apart, now I'm hurt and that burnt. I need more, give me more or I'll die. I'm afraid I won't survive. And I tried, fuck I tried. Now I'm lying on the street. Need a ride to get high. I can't stand being me. Need a ride to get high. I can't stand being me. Fuck. Persisting feels like pouring rain. Why must you persist? Oh, heaviness feels like pouring rain. Holding on weight might break. This weight might break. Look, I create to distract myself from the fact that when I look at myself, I avoid eye contact. I feel like I overact, worried to death of the traits that I lack. Get rid of these flashbacks. I didn't ask to go back. Stand back and look back at all of my setbacks. So many times I have turned back to kick that, grabbed onto my drawbacks and come back to cut back. But how can a sad sack like me cut back when I keep all of my drawbacks in my backpack? Like a bunch of fucking useless knick-knacks. I'm sure I'll bounce back. But for now, guess I'll just hang back. I feel this, I see. Might break. This weight might break me, but I don't wanna die today. Never got the chance to live free of the trauma. He's too young to be a martyr. Never got the chance to live free of the trauma.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you had a lovely break. I myself went to the bathroom. I stretched a little bit, took a bite of my banana. It was a good time. It was a real good time. Hoping yours was just as nice, just as cool. And yeah, I believe I'm ready to jump back into this here book. Are you guys? Because chapter 2 could be a doozy. We'll have to find out. Alright. Coleman be ready, and Coleman speaks for the masses, as we all know. So, let's jump into this. Alright, this is Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. Chapter 2. I play dodgeball with cannonballs. My day started normal, or as normal as it ever gets at Merriweather College Prep. See, it's this progressive school in downtown Manhattan, which means we sit on beanbag chairs instead of desks, and we don't get grades, and the teachers wear jeans and rock concert t-shirts to work. That's all cool with me. I mean, I'm ADHD and dyslexic, like most half-bloods, so I'd never done that great in regular schools, even before they kicked me out. The only bad thing about Merriweather was that the teachers always looked on the bright side of things. And the kids weren't always, well, bright. Take my first class today, English. The whole middle school had read this book called Lord of Flies, where all these kids get marooned on an island and go psycho. So, for our final exam, our teachers sent us into the break yard to spend an hour with no adult supervision to see what would happen. What happened was a massive wedgie contest between the 7th and 8th graders, 2 pebble fights, and a full tackle basketball game. The school bully, Matt Sloan, led most of the activities. Sloan wasn't big or strong, but he liked to act like he was. He had eyes like a pit bull and shaggy black hair. He always dressed in expensive but sloppy clothes, like he wanted everybody to see how little he cared about his family's money. One of his front teeth was chipped from the time he'd taken his daddy's Porsche for a joyride and run into a "please slow down for children" sign. Anyway, Sloan was giving everybody wedgies until he made the mistake of trying it on my friend Tyson. Tyson was the only homeless kid at Merryweather College Prep. As near as my mom and I could figure, he'd been abandoned by his parents when he was very young. Probably because he was so different. He was 6'3" and built like an abominable snowman, but he cried a lot and was scared of just about everything, including his own reflection. His face was kind of misshapen and brutal looking. I couldn't tell you what color his eyes were, because I could never make myself look higher than his crooked teeth. His voice was deep, but he talked funny, like a much younger kid. I guess because he'd never gone to school before coming to Merryweather. He wore tattered jeans, grimy size 20 sneakers, and a plaid flannel shirt with holes in it. He smelled like a New York City alleyway, because that's where he lived, in a cardboard refrigerator box off 72nd Street. Merryweather Prep had adopted him as a community service project, so all the students could feel good about themselves. Unfortunately, most of them couldn't stand Tyson. Once they discovered he was a big softy, despite his massive strength and his scary looks, they made themselves feel pretty good by picking on him. I was pretty much his only friend, which meant he was my only friend. My mom had complained to the school a million times that they weren't doing enough to help him. She'd called social services, but nothing ever seemed to happen. The social workers claimed Tyson didn't exist. They swore up and down that they'd visited the alley we described and couldn't find him. Though how you miss a giant kid living in a refrigerator box, I don't know. Anyway, Matt Sloan snuck up behind him and tried to give him a wedgie, and Tyson panicked. He swatted Sloan away a little too hard. Sloan flew 15 feet and got tangled in the little kid's tire swing. "You freak!" Sloan yelled. "Why don't you go back to your cardboard box?" Tyson started sobbing. He sat down on the jungle gym so hard he bent the bar and buried his head in his hands. "Take it back, Sloan," I shouted. Sloan just sneered at me. "Why do you even bother, Jackson? You might have friends if you weren't always sticking up for that freak." I balled my fists. I hope my face wasn't as red as it felt. "He's not a freak. He's just..." I tried to think of the right way to say, but Sloan wasn't listening. He and his big ugly friends were too busy laughing. I wondered if it were my imagination, or if Sloan had more goons hanging around him than usual. I was used to seeing him with 2 or 3, but today he had like half a dozen more, and I was pretty sure I'd never seen them before. "Just wait until PE, Jackson," Sloan called. "You are so dead." When first period ended, our English teacher, Mr. DeMilo, came outside to inspect the carnage. He pronounced that we'd understood Lord of Flies perfectly. We all passed his course, and we never should have. We all passed his course, and we should never grow up to be violent people. Matt Sloan nodded earnestly, then gave me a chip-toothed grin. I had to promise to buy Tyson an extra peanut butter sandwich at lunch to get him to stop sobbing. I am a freak?" he asked me. "No," I promised, gritting my teeth. "Matt Sloan is is the freak. Tyson sniffled.
You are a good friend. Miss you next year if I can't.
His voice trembled. I realized he didn't know if he'd be invited back next year for the community service project. I wondered if the headmaster had even bothered talking to him about it. Don't worry, big guy, I managed. Everything's going to be fine. Tyson gave me such a grateful look. I felt like a big liar. How could I promise a kid like him that anything would be fine? Our next exam was science. Mrs. Tesla told us that we had to mix chemicals until we succeeded in making something explode. Tyson was my lab partner. His hands were way too big for the tiny vials we were supposed to use. He accidentally knocked a tray of chemicals off the counter and made an orange mushroom cloud in the trash can. After Mrs. Tesla evacuated the lab and called the hazardous waste removal squad, she praised Tyson and me for being natural chemists. We were the first ones who'd ever aced her exam in under 30 seconds. I was glad the morning went fast, because it kept me from thinking too much about my problems. I couldn't stand the idea that something might be wrong at camp. Even worse, I couldn't shake the memory of my bad dream. I had a terrible feeling that Grover was in danger. In social studies, while we were drawing latitude, longitude maps, I opened my notebook and stared at the photo inside. My friend Annabeth on vacation in Washington, D.C. She was wearing jeans and a denim jacket over her orange Camp Half-Blood t-shirt. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a bandana. She was standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial with her arms crossed, looking extremely pleased with herself, like she'd personally designed the place. See, Annabeth wants to be an architect when she grows up, so she's always visiting famous monuments and stuff. She's weird that way. She'd emailed me the picture after spring break, and every once in a while, I'd look at it just to remind myself she was real, and Camp Half-Blood hadn't just been my imagination. I wished Annabeth were here. She'd know what to make of my dream. I'd never admit it to her, but she was smarter than me, even if she was annoying sometimes. I was about to close my notebook when Matt Sloan reached over and ripped the photo out of the rings. "Hey!" I protested. Sloan checked out the picture and his eyes got wide. "No way, Jackson! Who is that? She is not your... Give it back!" I felt my ears felt hot. Sloan handed me the photo. Sorry. "Give it back!" My ears felt hot. Sloan handed the photo to his ugly buddies, who snickered and started ripping it up to make spit wads. They were new kids who must have been visiting, because they were all wearing those stupid "Hi, my name is" tags from the admissions office. They must have had a weird sense of humor, too, because they'd all filled in strange names like Marrow Sucker, Skull Eater, and Joe Bob. No human being had names like that. "These guys are moving here next year," Sloan bragged, like that was supposed to scare me. "I bet they can pay the tuition, too. Unlike your retarded friend." "He's not retarded." I had to try really, really hard not to punch Sloan in the face. "You're such a loser, Jackson. Good thing I'm gonna put you out of your misery next period." His huge buddies chewed up my photo. I wanted to pulverize them, but I was under strict orders from Chiron never to take my anger out on regular mortals, no matter how obnoxious they were. I had to save my fighting for monsters. Still, part of me thought, if Sloan only knew who I really was. The bell rang. As Tyson and I were leaving class, a girl's voice whispered, "Percy!" I looked around the locker area, but no one was paying me any attention. Like any girl at Merryweather, would ever be caught dead calling my name. Before I had time to consider whether or not I'd been imagining things, a crowd of kids rushed for the gym, carrying Tyson and me along with them. It was time for PE. Our coach had promised us a free-for-all dodgeball game, and Matt Sloan had promised to kill me. The gym uniform at Merryweather is sky blue shorts and tie-dye t-shirts. Fortunately, we did most of our athletic stuff inside, so we didn't have to jog through Tribeca looking like a bunch of boot camp hippie children. I changed as quickly as I could in the locker room because I didn't want to deal with Sloan. I was about to leave when Tyson called.
Percy?
He hadn't changed yet. He was standing by the weight room door, clutching his gym clothes.
Will you,
Oh, yeah. I tried not to sound aggravated about it. Yeah, sure, man. Tyson ducked inside the weight room. I stood guard outside the door while he changed. I felt kind of awkward doing this, but he asked me to do it most days. I think it's because he's completely hairy, and he's got weird scars on his back that I've never had the courage to ask him about. Anyway, I'd learned the hard way that if people teased Tyson while he was dressing out, he'd get upset and start ripping the door lockers off. When we got into the gym, Coach Nunnally was sitting at his little desk reading Sports Illustrated. Nunnally was about 1,000,000 years old, with bifocals and no teeth and a greasy wave of gray hair. He reminded me of the Oracle at Camp Half-Blood, which was a shriveled-up mummy, except Coach Nunnally moved a lot less, and he never billowed green smoke. Well, at least not that I'd observed. Matt Sloan said, "Coach, can I be captain?"
Eh?
Coach Nunnally looked up from his magazine.
Yeah.
He mumbled.
Mm-hmm.
Sloan grinned and took charge of the picking. He made me the other team's captain, but it didn't matter who I picked, because all the jocks and the popular kids moved over to Sloan's side. So did the big group of visitors. On my side, I had Tyson, Corey Baylor, the computer geek, Raj Mandali, the calculus whiz, and a half-dozen other kids who always got harassed by Sloan and his gang. Normally, I would have been okay with just Tyson. He was worth half a team all by himself. But the visitors on Sloan's team were almost as tall and strong-looking as Tyson, and there were 6 of them. Matt Sloan spilled a cage full of balls into the middle of the gym.
Scared.
Tyson mumbled.
Smell funny.
I looked at him. What smells funny? Because I didn't figure he was talking about himself.
Them.
Tyson pointed at Sloan's new friends.
Smell funny.
The visitors were cracking their knuckles, eyeing us like it was slaughter time. I couldn't help wondering where they were from. Someplace where they fed kids raw meat and beat them with sticks, no doubt. Sloan blew the coach's whistle, and the game began. Sloan's team ran for the center line. On my side, Raj Mandali yelled something in Urdu, probably. "I have to go potty!" and ran for the exit. Corey Baylor tried to crawl behind the wall mat and hide. The rest of my team did their best to cower in fear and not look like targets. "Tyson," I said, "let's get..." A ball slammed into my gut. I sat down hard in the middle of the gym floor. The other team exploded in laughter. My eyesight was fuzzy. I felt like I'd just gotten the Heimlich maneuver from a gorilla. I couldn't believe anybody could throw that hard. Tyson yelled,
Percy, duck!
I rolled as another dodgeball whistled past my ear at the speed of sound. Phew! It hit a wall mat. Corey Baylor yelped. "Hey!" I yelled at Sloan's team. "You could kill somebody!" The visitor named Joe Bob grinned at me evilly. Somehow, he looked a lot bigger now, even taller than Tyson. His biceps bulged beneath his t-shirt. "I hope so, Jackson. I hope so." The way he said my name sent a chill down my back. Nobody called me Perseus. Oh, sorry. "I hope so, Perseus Jackson. I hope so." The way he said my name sent a chill down my back. Nobody called me Perseus, except those who knew my true identity. Friends and enemies. What had Tyson said?
They smell funny.
Monsters. All around Matt Sloan, the visitors were growing in size. They were no longer kids. They were 8-foot-tall giants with wild eyes, pointy teeth, and hairy arms tattooed with snakes and hula women and Valentine hearts. Matt Sloan dropped his ball. "Whoa, you're not from Detroit. Who?" The other kids on the team started screaming and backing toward the exit, but the giant named Marrowsucker threw a ball with deadly accuracy. It streaked past Raj Mandali just as he was about to leave and hit the door, slamming it shut like magic. Raj and some of the other kids banged on it desperately, but it wouldn't budge. "Let them go!" I yelled at the giants. The one called Joe Bob growled at me. He had a tattoo on his biceps that said, "JB loves baby cakes." "And lose our tasty morsels. No, son of the sea god. We Laestrygonians aren't just playing for your death. We want lunch." He waved his hand, and a new batch of dodgeballs appeared at the center line. But these balls weren't made of red rubber. They were bronze, the size of cannonballs, perforated like wiffle balls, and with fire bubbling out of the holes. They must have been searing hot, but the giants picked them up with their bare hands. "Coach!" I yelled, and only looked up sleepily. But if he saw anything abnormal about the dodgeball game, he didn't let on. That's the problem with mortals. A magical force called the mist obscures the true appearance of monsters and gods from their vision. So mortals tend to see only what they can understand. Maybe the coach saw a few 8th graders pounding the younger kids like usual. Maybe the other kids saw Matt Sloan's thugs getting ready to toss Molotov cocktails around. It wouldn't have been the first time. At any rate, I was pretty sure nobody else realized we were dealing with genuine man-eating, bloodthirsty monsters. "Yeah! Coach muttered. "Play nice!" And he went back to his magazine. The giant named Skull Eater threw his ball. I dove aside as the fiery bronze comet sailed past my shoulder. "Corey!" I screamed. Tyson pulled him out from behind the exercise mat just as the ball exploded against it, blasting the mat to smoke and shreds. "Run!" I told my teammates. "The other exit!" They ran for the locker room, but with another wave of Joe Bob's hand, that door also slammed shut. "No one leaves unless you're out," Joe Bob roared. "And you're not out until we eat you." He launched his own fireball. My teammates scattered as it blasted a crater in the gym floor. I reached for Riptide, which I always kept in my pocket, but then I realized I was wearing gym shorts. I had no pockets. Riptide was tucked in my jeans inside my gym locker, and the locker room door was sealed. I was completely defenseless. Another fireball came streaking toward me. Tyson pushed me out of the way, but the explosion still blew me head over heels. I found myself sprawled on the gym floor, dazed from smoke, my tie-dyed t-shirt peppered with sizzling holes. Just across the center line, 2 hungry giants were glaring down at me. "Flesh!" they bellowed.
Hero flesh for lunch.
They both took aim.
Percy needs help.
Tyson yelled, and he jumped in front of me just as they threw their balls. Tyson! I screamed, but it was too late. Both balls slammed into him. But no, he'd caught them. Somehow Tyson, who was so clumsy he knocked over lab equipment and broke playground structures on a regular basis, had caught 2 fiery metal balls speeding toward him at a zillion miles an hour. He sent them hurtling back toward their surprised owners, who screamed, "Bad!" as the bronze spheres exploded against their chests. The giants disintegrated in twin columns of flame, a sure sign they were monsters. Monsters don't die, they just dissipate into smoke and dust, which saves heroes a lot of trouble cleaning up after a fight.
My brothers!
Joe Bob the cannibal wailed. He flexed his muscles, and his baby cake's tattoo rippled.
You will pay for their destruction.
Tyson, I said, look out! Another comet hurled towards us. Tyson just had time to swat it aside. It flew straight over Coach Nunnally's head and landed in the bleachers with a huge kaboom. Kids were running around screaming, trying to avoid the sizzling craters in the floor. Others were banging on the door, calling for help. Sloane himself stood petrified in the middle of the court, watching in disbelief as balls of death flew around him. Coach Nunnally still wasn't seeing anything. He tapped his hearing aid like the explosions were giving him interference, but he kept his eyes on his magazine. Surely the whole school could hear the noise. The headmaster, the police, somebody would come help us.
Victory will be ours,
roared Joe Bob the cannibal.
We will feast on your bones.
I wanted to tell him he was taking the dodgeball game way too seriously, but before I could, he hefted another ball. The other 3 giants followed his lead. I knew we were dead. Tyson couldn't deflect all those balls at once. His hands had to be seriously burned from blocking the first volley. Without my sword, I had a crazy idea. I ran toward the locker room. Move! I told my teammates. Away from the door! Explosions behind me. Tyson had batted 2 of the balls back toward their owners and blasted them to ashes. That left 2 giants still standing. A 3rd ball hurled straight at me. I forced myself to wait. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, then dove aside as the fiery sphere demolished the locker room door. Now I figured that the built-up gas in most boys' locker rooms was enough to cause an explosion, so I wasn't surprised when the flaming ball ignited a huge whoom. The wall blew apart. Locker doors, socks, athletic supporters, and other various nasty personal belongings rained all over the gym. I turned just in time to see Tyson punch Skull Eater in the face. The giant crumpled, but the last giant, Joe Bob, had wisely held on to his own ball, waiting for an opportunity. He threw just as Tyson was turning to face him. No! I yelled. The ball caught Tyson square in the chest. He slid the length of the court and slammed into the back wall, which cracked and partially crumbled on top of him, making a hole right onto Church Street. I didn't see how Tyson could still be alive, but he only looked dazed. The bronze ball was smoking at his feet. Tyson tried to pick it up, but he fell back, stunned, into a pile of cinder blocks.
Well,
Joe Bob gloated.
I'm the last one standing. I'll have enough meat to bring baby cakes and Doggy back. Oh, to bring baby cakes a doggy bag.
He picked up another ball and aimed it at Tyson. Stop! I yelled. It's me you want! The giant grinned.
You want to die first, young hero?
I had to do something. Riptide had to be around here somewhere. Then I spotted my jeans in a smoking heap of clothes right by the giant's feet. If I could only get there. I knew it was hopeless, but I charged. The giant laughed.
My lunch approaches.
He raised his arm to throw. I braced myself to die. Suddenly, the giant's body went rigid. His expression changed from gloating to surprise. Right where his belly button should have been, his t-shirt ripped open, and he grew something like a horn. No, not a horn. The glowing tip of a blade. The ball dropped out of his hand. The monster stared down at the knife that had just run him through from behind. He muttered,
Ow.
and burst into a cloud of green flame, which I figured was going to make Baby Cakes pretty upset. Standing in the smoke was my friend Annabeth. Her face was grimy and scratched. She had a ragged backpack slung over her shoulder, her baseball cap tucked in her pocket, a bronze knife in her hand, and a wild look in her stormy gray eyes, like she'd just been chased 1,000 miles by ghosts. Matt Sloan, who'd been standing there dumbfounded the whole time, finally came to his senses. He blinked at Annabeth, as if he dimly recognized her from my notebook picture. That's the girl! That's the girl! Annabeth punched him in the nose and knocked him flat. And you, she told him, lay off my friend. The gym was in flames. Kids were still running around screaming. I heard sirens wailing and a garbled voice over the intercom. Through the glass windows of the exit doors, I could see the headmaster, Mr. Bonsai, wrestling with the lock, a crowd of teachers piling up behind him. Annabeth, I stammered. How long have you... Pretty much all morning. She sheathed her bronze knife. I've been trying to find a good time to talk to you, but you were never alone. The shadow I saw this morning, that was... My face felt hot. Oh my gods, you were looking in my bedroom window? There's no time to explain, she snapped, though she looked a little red-faced herself. I just didn't want to... There! A woman screamed. The doors burst open, and the adults came pouring in. Meet me outside, Annabeth told me. And him. She pointed to Tyson, who was still sitting dazed against the wall. Annabeth gave him a look of distaste that I didn't quite understand. You'd better bring him. What? No time, she said. Hurry! She put on her Yankees baseball cap, which was a magic gift from her mom, and instantly vanished. That left me standing alone in the middle of the burning gymnasium when the headmaster came charging in with half the faculty and a couple of police officers.
Percy Jackson, Mr. Bonsai said. What? How?
Over by the broken wall, Tyson groaned and stood up from the pile of cinder blocks.
Head hurts.
Matt Sloan was coming around too. He focused on me with a look of terror. Percy did it, Mr. Bonsai. He set the whole building on fire. Coach Nunnally will tell you. He saw it all. Coach Nunnally had been dutifully reading his magazine, but just my luck, he chose that moment to look up when Sloan said his name.
Yeah.
The other adults turned toward me. I knew they would never believe me, even if I could tell them the truth. I grabbed Riptide out of my ruined jeans, told Tyson, "Come on!" and jumped through the gaping hole in the side of the building.
Huh? Eh? Yeah.
Dude, he's my favorite character. Keaton, I have a good feeling about that marrow sucker guy. Yeah, dude, I mean, only good guys have names like that, right? Man. I liked that. I liked that chapter a lot. My word. The Giants were so fun to voice. And good as knows. That freaking old man. I don't doubt it. It's that stereotypical like old man who is so old that he no longer hears anything and responds to everything with just eh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man. That was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That was a darn good chapter too. Like I said, Rick Riordan knows how to start a book. And we got to meet Tyson. Tyson is a good character. I love him to death. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, who doesn't love old men? Not this guy. Or is that just a statement? Guys, love old men. Seriously. Love old men. Do it. They deserve love. They've lived a long time. Yeah, those chapters weren't too long, but I'm kind of grateful. The first one was really, really short, and the second one wasn't too long either. And if you look, if you can tell, this right here is where we're at. We've made it like a smidgen, a smidgen into it. Heck yeah, dude. I didn't even think about that. It's a good voice to give Tyson for sure.
SpongeBob? Percy? What's going on? What's going on?
I can dig that. I can dig that.
Head hurts.
Dude, don't spoil stuff. That line is a classic, though. Tyson, your genius is showing.
Where? Where?
What a goober. He's a good goober. Yeah, goodness. I mean, check it out. We're only an hour and 20 minutes into the session. I know normally I do like a little video game playing beforehand, but they normally last like about 2.5 hours, I think. Dude. I agree, man. I mean, they did most things dirty in those movies. Are you serious? I mean, I think I saw the first one and just did not bring myself to go see the second. I was just not about to do that. You see if I can find a picture of that, though. Dyson, Percy Jackson movie. Dude. You can't just do him dirty like this. Hang on. See, I think I have... Let me bring up my display. Look at this. No. 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 this fan art here is better than their depiction. There we go. I'm just gonna leave the boy in the corner there. But we're getting that Percy Jackson series on Disney Plus, where Rick Riordan is heavily involved. He said he wanted each session to be one book. Season. Each season. Sorry, when I heard session, I was like, this is going to be the same thing as the movies, but worse. If you even try to fit the whole book into 45 minutes, that would not be a good thing. But if it's one book per season, that could be good. That could be really good. Is it animated or live action? It's gonna be live action. All right. I mean, they can do that. I mean, since they kind of sprunked it up on the first time they tried to do the series and movies, I feel like graphics have gotten even better, right? Certainly they have. Like things that they can do with computer graphics to mix it into live action, it's gotten better. So I think I'd have high hopes for that. Yeah. It's funny to me that you didn't know this because they announced it recently and then you started your Percy Jackson stream. So I thought that's why you decided to stream this now. Well, sometimes things just work out like that. I genuinely didn't know about that though. That's a good thing though. Could bring some folks over this way. Who knows? Maybe yeah, I mean, and I'm hoping I do this this series justice, you know. You could even say a magical coincidence, certainly. This is a good banana. It's like just at that right time where it's not too firm, but it's just soft enough. Is that what they call serendipity? I don't even know what serendipity means. Wait, check this out. Streamception. Heck yeah, dude. Go get yourself a banana. Bananas are good for the soul and for the muscle. Well, heck yeah. I think I may cut this stream a little bit early. I am glad that the chapters were a little bit shorter. I was hoping to get some work done on some music tonight. So yeah. This was a really good start though to the book. I'm getting all excited all over again for the series. I don't know. Not that my excitement had really dropped any. I mean, I get excited just at any of the chapters, honestly. But this was a heck of a way to kick it off. It was nice. It was a nice time. Remember that tomorrow. Sorry, let me get this boy out of here. Who, this guy? Who Who, this guy? Who? This guy? This is my stream now. Welcome. Overall Duff. Welcome, dude. Hello, hello. Welcome to my my stream. There's me on camera. I'm sitting really still and talking through my earlobes. No, I only kid. Here I am. I'll get rid of dear old Tyson from the movie Percy Jackson, Sea of Thieves, or Sea of sorry. I look weird. Well, hey, don't judge a book by its eye. Know what I mean? Well, guys, I'm gonna cut it off a little bit early here, but I want to make some announcements. I have tomorrow, hopefully we're gonna be doing a birthday stream, which will either be just simply me continuing on with this book, or we may be doing something special, like a little Mad Libs situation where it's me versus you guys, where you guys come up with the Mad Lib, send it my way, and I read it in whatever voice you guys deem I read it in, and if I giggle or laugh or smile, I lose. Sounds like it could be fun. Wonder if there's a way that I can like up the stakes with that, but even if there's not super stakes, could be fun. And we're gonna be reading some classic fanfics, which ought to be interesting. It'll most likely be a shorter stream, so be sure to catch it when it's on. Ought to be a fun time. And the other announcement is, I am sad to say I will not be streaming from Wednesday. I will not be streaming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm going to the beach with my family. It's gonna be an easy win. You're a cheery fellow. Hey, don't test me, boy. I will win. You just watch. Heck yeah, I am sad. So I've been streaming every day as of late, but I'm gonna take a little break, go to the beach, relax, work on some music, and spend some time with my family. It'll be a good time. But I certainly will miss you guys. But fear not, I will not be gone for long. For come Saturday, I'll be back for Sci-Fi Saturday. And since we'll be missing Friday's stream, I'm gonna do Spooky Scary Sunday. Or hear me out, I could do Spooky Scary Saturday, and then Sci-Fi Sunday. Yeah, that way we go in the same order that we normally do. That'll be good. Yeah, man. I suppose I could use a break. Oh, what's up, social anxiety? Dude. That freaking... Sorry. Just saying, what's up, social anxiety? That's a solid thing. When Lube Coop's back? Saturday? Is he taking a break too? Oh shoot, no, when are we streaming together again? I'm thinking most likely Saturday. Wait till then. Me every time I have to go out of the house. What's up, social anxiety? What's shaking? You come around here often? It seems like you do. Dude, you got an excellent name. Props to you. Props to you for snagging that one. Heck yeah. Well, this is really cool. Got a lot of folks here. I hope were all of you guys here for my reading, or Are you kind of catching the tail end of the stream here, where I babble on about various thises and that's? I know you just did, Dad. Much love, by the way. Thanks for checking in. Well, guys, this has been fun. Shoot, there's a lot of peeps here. I would be down to read another chapter, actually. I would be forfeiting my music making time, but I'd be down if you guys are interested in doing some reading here. Heck yeah. Or sorry, listening to me read here. Either that or we could read a short story that we wound up not getting to read on this past Freaky Friday. I don't know. It's up to you guys, though. If you don't answer soon, I'm bringing back this guy. It's so abrupt. Get it out of here. Oh my god. Gonna have a good time next week when I see my friend I haven't seen in a while and things not be weird? Yeah. Nice. Keaton votes another chapter. I'm into that. This is a momentous day. We are just starting the book, so I think it would only be right that I read a little bit more. And I won't be streaming on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so I think I may read 3 chapters tonight and 3 chapters tomorrow night. Or rather, sorry, tomorrow night is the birthday stream. But since we won't get to hear much from this book this week, I'll read another one here. Let's jump right in. Book. Heck yeah. Alright, Snoopy, you ready to go, dude? Very nice. Again, this is Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. Chapter 3. We hailed the taxi of eternal torment. Annabeth was waiting for us in an alley down Church Street. She pulled Tyson and me off the sidewalk, just as a fire truck screamed past, heading for the Merryweather Prep. "Where did you find him?" she demanded, pointing at Tyson. Now, under different circumstances, I would have been really happy to see her. We'd made our peace last summer, despite the fact that her mom was Athena and didn't get along with my dad. I'd missed Annabeth probably more than I wanted to admit. But I'd just been attacked by cannibal giants. Tyson had saved my life 3 or 4 times, and all Annabeth could do was glare at him like he was the problem. "He's my friend," I told her. "Is he homeless?" "What does that have to do with anything? He can hear you, you know. Why don't you ask him?" She looked surprised. "He can talk?"
I talk.
Tyson admitted.
You're pretty.
Ah, gross. Annabeth stepped away from him. I couldn't believe she was being so rude. I examined Tyson's hands, which I was sure must have been badly scorched by the flaming dodgeballs. But they looked fine. Grimy and scarred, with dirty fingernails the size of potato chips. But they always looked like that. "Tyson," I said in disbelief. Your hands aren't even burned. Of course not, Annabeth muttered. I'm surprised the Lystragonians had the guts to attack you with him around. Tyson seemed fascinated by Annabeth's blonde hair. He tried to touch it, but she smacked his hand away. Annabeth, I said. What are you talking about? What? Lystragonians. The monsters in the gym. They're a race of giant cannibals who live in the far north. Odysseus ran into them once, but I've never seen them as far south as New York before. I can't even say that. What would you call them in English? She thought about it for a moment. Canadians, she decided. Now come on. We have to get out of here. The police will be after me. That's the least of our problems, she said. Have you been having the dreams? The dreams? About Grover? Her face turned pale. Grover? No, what about Grover? I told her my dream. Why? Why? What were you dreaming about? Her eyes looked stormy, like her mind was racing 1,000,000 miles per hour. Camp, she said at last. Big trouble at camp. My mom was saying the same thing. But what kind of trouble? I don't know exactly. Something's wrong. We have to get there right away. Monsters have been chasing me all the way from Virginia, trying to stop me. Have you had a lot of attacks? I shook my head. None all year. Until today. None? But how? Her eyes drifted to Tyson. Oh. What do you mean, oh? Tyson raised his hand like he was still in a class.
Canadians in the gym called Percy something. Son of Sea God?
Annabeth and I exchanged looks. I didn't know how I could explain, but I figured Tyson deserved the truth after almost getting killed. Big guy, I said. You ever heard of those old stories about the Greek gods? Like Zeus, Poseidon, Athena.
Yes,
Tyson said. Well, the gods are still alive. They kind of follow Western civilization around, living in the strongest countries. So, like, now they're in the US. And sometimes they have kids with mortals. Kids called half-bloods.
Yes,
Tyson said, like he was still waiting for me to get the point. Well, Annabeth and I are half-bloods, I said. We're like heroes in training. And whenever monsters pick up our scent, they attack us. That's what those giants were in the gym. Monsters.
yes.
I stared at him. He didn't seem surprised or confused by what I was telling him, which surprised and confused me. So, you believe me? Tyson nodded.
Well, you are son of the sea god.
Yeah, I admitted. My dad is Poseidon. Tyson frowned. Now he looked confused.
But then...
A siren wailed. A police car raced past our alley. We don't have time for this, Annabeth said. We'll talk in the taxi. A taxi all the way to camp, I said. You know how much money? Trust me. I hesitated. But what about Tyson? I imagined escorting my giant friend into Camp Half-Blood. If he freaked out on a regular playground with regular bullies, how would he act at a training camp for demigods? On the other hand, the cops would be looking for us. We can't just leave him, I decided. He'll be in trouble too. Yeah, Annabeth looked grim. We definitely need to take him. Now, come on. I didn't like the way she said that. As if Tyson were a big disease we needed to get to the hospital. But I followed her down the alley. Together, the three of us sneaked through the side streets of downtown while a huge column of smoke billowed up behind us from my school gymnasium. Here. Annabeth stopped us on the corner of Thomas and Trimble. She fished around in her backpack. I hope I have one left. She looked even worse than I'd realized at first. Her chin was cut. Twigs and grass were tangled in her ponytail, as if she'd slept several nights in the open. The slashes on the hems of her jeans looked suspiciously like claw marks. What are you looking for? I asked. All around us, sirens wailed. I figured it wouldn't be long before more cops cruised by, looking for juvenile delinquent gym bombers. Juvenile delinquent gym bombers. No doubt Matt Sloan had given them a statement by now. He'd probably twisted the story around so that Tyson and I were the bloodthirsty cannibals. Found one. Thank the gods. Annabeth pulled out a gold coin that I recognized as a drachma, the currency of Mount Olympus. It had Zeus's likeness stamped on one side and the Empire State Building on the other. Annabeth, I said, New York taxi drivers won't take that. Stethi, she shouted in ancient Greek. O arma diobles. As usual, the moment she spoke in the language of Olympus, I somehow understood it. She said, Stop, chariot of damnation. That didn't exactly make me feel real excited about whatever her plan was. She threw her coin into the street, but instead of clattering on the asphalt, the drachma sank right into the ground and disappeared. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, just where the coin had fallen, the asphalt darkened. It melted into a rectangular pool about the size of a parking space, bubbling red liquid like blood. Then a car erupted from the ooze. It was a taxi, all right, but unlike every other taxi in New York. It wasn't yellow. It was smoky gray. I mean, it looked like it was woven out of smoke, like you could walk right through it. There were words printed on the door, something like Giar Cyrus, but my dyslexia made it hard for me to decipher what it said. The passenger window rolled down, and an old woman stuck her head out. She had a mop of grizzled hair covering her eyes, and she spoke in a weird mumbling way, like she'd just had a shot of Novocaine. Passage. 3 to Camp Half-Blood, Annabeth said. She opened the cab door and waved me to get in. Like this was all completely normal. Ach! The old woman screeched. We don't take his kind. She pointed a bony finger at Tyson. What was it? Pick on big and ugly kids day? Extra pay, Annabeth promised. 3 more drachma on arrival. Done! The woman screamed. Reluctantly, I got in the cab. Tyson squeezed in the middle. Annabeth crawled in last. The interior was also smoky gray, but it felt solid enough. The seat was cracked and lumpy. No different than most taxis. There was no plexiglass screen separating us from the old lady driving. Wait a minute. There wasn't just one old lady. There were 3, all crammed in the front seat, each with stingy hair covering her eyes, bony hands, and a charcoal-colored sackcloth dress. The one driving said, Long Island! Add a metro fare bonus! Ha! She floored the accelerator, and my head slammed against the backrest. A pre-recorded voice came on over the speaker. Hi, this is Ganymede, cupbearer to Zeus, and when I'm out buying wine for the Lord of the Skies, I always buckle up. I looked down and found a large black chain instead of a seatbelt. I decided I wasn't that desperate. Yet. The cab sped around the corner of West Broadway, and the gray lady sitting in the middle screeched, Look out! Go left! Well, if you didn't give me the eye, Tempest, or if you'd give me the eye, Tempest, I could see that, the driver complained. Wait a minute. Give her the eye? I didn't have time to ask questions because the driver swerved to avoid an oncoming delivery truck, ran over the curb with a jaw-rattling thump, and flew into the next block. "Wasp!" the third lady said to the driver. "Give me the girl's coin. I want to bite it." "You bet it last time, Anger," said the driver, whose name must have been Wasp. "It's my turn." "It's not," yelled the one called Anger. The middle one, Tempest, screamed, "Red light! Brake!" yelled Anger. Instead, Wasp floored the accelerator and rode up on the curb, screeching around another corner and knocking over a newspaper box. She left my stomach somewhere back on Broome Street. "Excuse me," I said, "but can you see?" "No!" screamed Wasp from behind the wheel. "No!" screamed Tempest from the middle. "Of course!" screamed Anger by the shotgun window. I looked at Annabeth. "They're blind?" "Not completely," Annabeth said. "They have an eye." "One eye?" "Yeah. Each? No, one eye total." Next to me, Tyson groaned and grabbed the seat.
Not feeling so good.
"Oh man," I said, because I'd seen Tyson get carsick on school field trips, and it was not something you wanted to be within 50 feet of. "Hang in there, big guy. Anybody got a garbage bag or something?" The three gray ladies were too busy squabbling to pay me any attention. I looked over at Annabeth, who was hanging on for dear life, and I gave her a "Why did you do this to me?" look. "Hey," she said, "Gray Sisters taxi is the fastest way to camp." "Then why didn't you take it from Virginia?" "That's outside their service area," she said, like that should be obvious. "They only serve greater New York and surrounding communities." "We've had famous people in this cab," Anger exclaimed. "Jason! You remember him?" "Don't remind me," Wasp wailed. "We didn't have the cab back then, you old bat. That was 3,000 years ago. Give me the tooth." Anger tried to grab at Wasp's mouth, but Wasp swatted her hand away. "Only if Tempest gives me the eye." "No!" Tempest screeched. "You had it yesterday." "But I'm driving, you old hag." "Excuses. Turn! That was your turn." Wasp swerved hard onto Delancey Street, squishing me between Tyson and the door. She punched the gas, and we shot up the Williamsburg Bridge at 70 miles an hour. The three sisters were fighting for real now, slapping each other as Anger tried to grab at Wasp's face, and Wasp tried to grab at Tempest's. With their hair flying and their mouths open, screaming at each other, I realized that none of the sisters had any teeth except for Wasp, who had one mossy yellow incisor. Instead of eyes, they just had closed, sunken eyelids, except for Anger, who had one bloodshot green eye that stared at everything hungrily, as if it couldn't get enough of anything it saw. Finally, Anger, who had the advantage of sight, managed to yank the tooth out of her sister Wasp's mouth. This made Wasp so mad she swerved toward the edge of the Williamsburg Bridge, yelling, "Give it back! Give it back!" Tyson groaned and clutched his stomach. If anybody's interested," I said, "we're going to die." "Don't worry," Annabeth told me, sounding pretty worried. "The Gray Sisters know what they're doing. They're really very wise." This coming from the daughter of Athena, but I wasn't exactly reassured. We were skimming along the edge of a bridge 130 feet above the East River. "Yes, wise." Anger grinned in the rearview mirror, showing off her newly acquired tooth. "We know things." Every street in Manhattan, Wasp bragged, still hitting her sister. The capital of Nepal. The location you seek, Tempest added. Immediately, her sisters pummeled her from either side, screaming, Be quiet! Be quiet! He didn't even ask yet. What? I said. What location? I'm not seeking any. Nothing, Tempest said. You're right, boy. It's nothing. Tell me. No, they all screamed. The last time we told, it was horrible, Tempest said. I tossed in the lake, Anger agreed. Years to find it again, Wasp moaned. And speaking of that, give it back. No, yelled Anger. Wasp yelled. Give me. She whacked her sister Anger on the back. There was a sickening and something flew out of Anger's face. Anger fumbled for it, trying to catch it, but she only managed to bat it with the back of her hand. The slimy green orb sailed over her shoulder into the back seat and straight on to my lap. I jumped so hard my head hit the ceiling, and the eyeball rolled away. I can't see! All three sisters yelled. Give me the eye! Wasp wailed. Give her the eye! Annabeth screamed. I don't have it, I said. There by your foot, Annabeth said. Don't step on it! Get it! I'm not picking that up. The taxi slammed against the guardrail and skidded along with a horrible grinding noise. The whole car shuddered, billowing gray smoke as if it were about to dissolve from the strain.
Going to be sick,
Tyson warned. Annabeth, I yelled. Let Tyson use your backpack. Are you crazy? Get the eye! Wasp yanked the wheel, and the taxi swerved away from the rail. We hurtled down the bridge toward Brooklyn, going faster than any human taxi. The Gray sisters screeched and pummeled each other and cried out for their eye. At last, I steeled my nerves. I ripped off a chunk of my tie-dye t-shirt, which was already falling apart from all the burn marks, and used it to pick the eyeball off the floor. Nice boy! Anger cried, as if she somehow knew it was her missing peeper. Give it back! Not until you explain, I told her. What were you talking about? The location I seek. No time! Tempest cried. Accelerating! I looked out the window. Sure enough, trees and cars and whole neighborhoods were now zipping by in gray blur. We were already out of Brooklyn, heading through the middle of Long Island. Percy, Annabeth warned, they can't find our destination without the eye. We'll just keep accelerating until we break into 1,000,000 pieces. First they have to tell me, I said, or I'll open the window and throw the eye into oncoming traffic. No! The Gray sisters wailed. Too dangerous! I'm rolling down the window. Wait! The Gray sisters screamed. 30, 31, 75, 12. They belted it out like a quarterback calling a play. What do you mean? I said. That makes no sense. 30, 31, 75, 12. Anger wailed. That's all we can tell you. Now give us the eye. Almost to camp. We were off the highway now, zipping through the countryside of North Long Island. I could see Half-Blood Hill ahead of us, with its giant pine tree at the crest. Dahlia's tree, which contained the life force of a fallen hero. Percy! Annabeth said more urgently. Give them the eye now! I decided not to argue. I threw the eye into Wasp's lap. The old lady snatched it up, pushed it into her eye socket, like somebody putting in a contact lens, and blinked. Whoa! She slammed on the brakes. The taxi spun 4 or 5 times in a cloud of smoke and squealed to a halt in the middle of the farm road at the base of Half-Blood Hill. Tyson let out a huge belch.
Better now.
All right. Or sorry. All right. All right, I told the Gray sisters. Now tell me what those numbers mean. No time. Annabeth opened the door. We have to get out now. I was about to ask why when I looked up at Half-Blood Hill and understood. At the crest of the hill was a group of campers, and they were under attack. Man, these are some good chapters. I forgot about these characters that come up so soon in the story. Gotta say, they are a hoot and a half to voice. I hope the three sisters weren't too obnoxious of a voice though. I also hope I wasn't clipping the mic or anything. A hoot and a half, dude.
Loved me? I'm flattered.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Man, I'm glad I read a third chapter. That was a good one. Heck yeah. I'm actually, without, like, subconsciously, I modeled it after a certain character from the Critical Role series that Matt Mercer voices. Some of you might know who I'm talking about, but I'll leave it at that. A certain gunpowder salesman. Ah. Go away, Siri. Ah. That was sweet. That was a funny chapter, too. I forgot about that. But what is it that they've stumbled upon in Camp Half-Blood? What's going on? Why are they under attack? And dude, poor Annabeth. She traveled from where again? DC or something? I guess that's not terribly far from New York. But it's still a long ways to go if you're just on foot, just trying to make it over there. Then again, they did travel all the way over to LA from New York. Or from, like, yeah, a little ways outside New York. Good. Don't tell. Don't tell. Yeah, I genuinely forget. I'm sure it'll come back to me when I read the chapter, of course, but I don't remember what's going on at Camp Half-Blood. That's a good place to leave off, though. It's a heck of a place. All we know is they have finally arrived back at Camp Half-Blood. Percy is again a wanted fugitive. And now something's going down at Camp Half-Blood. Is Chiron okay? Is Dionysus helping in the battle against whatever is happening? I don't know. Well, dang. Yeah, I really am glad that I read another one. That didn't even take all that long. Yeah, even if I hop off now, I'll actually still have a little bit of time to work on some music. I have in the works the theme for Sci-Fi Saturday and the theme for Freaky Friday. I'm pretty excited. I'm basing the Sci-Fi Saturday theme song off of the poem that was in There Will Come Soft Rains by Mr. Bradbury. I believe that's by Mr. Bradbury. Let me just make sure. Yeah. There Will Come Soft Rains by Ray Bradbury. I'm basing it off of that poem. I think it'll be a good one. Let this soak. Hey, so souk can be good, right? Right? I mean, right? Up to, I mean, right? Right? Yeah, sick is an interesting word too. It both describes something being ill, but also something being cool. It's a weird little difference there, depending on the context. Strange. Very strange. Well, heck, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I enjoyed those. Like I said, and honest to goodness, I'm I'm ecstatic about like the fact that those characters were in the first 3 chapters. I didn't know what to expect exactly, and I'd entirely forgotten what the beginning of this book was like. But it was really cool to experience it again along with you guys. And so many of you too. Good gracious. I'm used to having on weekdays like up to 5 viewers max. It really means a lot to have your guys' support. I am elated to see that the Merry Meadow is flourishing and growing. So, did anybody have any favorite parts from tonight? Was it this guy? Yeah. I think my favorite part. Anything Tyson did. Heck yeah. Yeah, dude. I was right. This was your favorite part. I agree, though. I feel like I strayed from the Patrick Star vibe. I'm not sure.
I think he
goes up in like in his like range. I think more than I've been doing.
For me, I've been staying down here.
Whereas I think
Patrick tends to go.
God, I don't even know now. I'm gonna just go with it. I'm gonna keep to the voice that I've had for him so far. It may be Patrick Star-esque, but of course, I'm not Patrick Star's voice actor, so it might be similar, but I doubt it'll be exactly the same. Hoping that it just holds on to those Patrick Star vibes. Also, from tonight, we learned love old men. It's a good thing to remember. Don't forget to love old men. Understand? I think my favorite part from these 3 chapters, I think it's got to be the run-in with the three ladies. That was just too good. It was exciting. It was fast-paced. It was goofy. I don't know. It was a lot of things that I love and adore. All right, I'll get him out of here. Last time, I promise. Also, I'm grateful I was reminded of the disaster that was the Sea of Monsters movie. I don't know. I guess they're not disasters per se, but they certainly did not live up to what I was expecting from a Percy Jackson movie. Because I won't say, please stop. Don't give me any ideas. Yeah. It borders on being that bad though, in my opinion. My humble opinion. I feel like it's right around that level. Granted, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I don't know. Maybe I ought to give it another shot. Maybe I could stand to do a review of the movies on my YouTube channel. Would you guys be interested in that? A run through? Yeah, man. And it would be good to do right after I've finished the book too, cuz all the details will be ripe in my memory. That would be cool. Be down with that. I don't know how it'll go though. I may wind up suffering. But I will suffer for my wildflowers. Nice. Well, heck yeah. Oh, you'd watch them with me, dude? Thank you. I would really appreciate that, honestly. I think it would make it a lot more fun. Heck yeah. Well, sweetness, guys. Again, it was super cool to have this day as the start of not a new series, but the second book within the series. Yeah, no, I wouldn't show you the Sea of Monsters one. Not until we finish the book. Yeah, we're not gonna do it like I did with Harry Potter and read like the first 2 books and then just watch all the movies. Don't be mad at me. I was young and stupid. Oh, I forgot to turn on the chill hop beats to go in the background. My bad. I'm just too darn excited after that chapter. That was just a real nice time. And Snoopy, thank you as always for at least joining us. Could probably stand to pay attention every now and then, maybe. But I mean, that's up to you. You know, you make your own decisions. You're your own dog. All right, that's all. Yeah, me and Snoopy have been going through something lately. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's off-camera stuff. Yeah, I won't get into it. I still love him. Don't worry. All right, guys. Yeah, I think it's about time we started wrapping things up. Again, like I said, I'll make a post about it on my Twitter, Instagram, and in the announcements of the Discord. But I will not be streaming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll be coming back on Saturday for Spooky Scary Saturday instead of Freaky Friday. And then we'll do Sci-Fi Sunday. So we're pushing back the dates. So if you come in on Saturday thinking it'll be Sci-Fi Saturday, you will be greeted by the horror and the terrifying. So ye be warned. Ye be warned. But I still hope you'll show up for both of those. There'll be no doubt a good time. I'll be compiling some good stories. I've been thinking maybe it would be cool to read a SCP for one of those days too. I don't know if there are some classics in those, but I know those are pretty darn cool. I've read a couple, and the ones that I read were really sweet. They were just they're that type of thing where it's so just indifferent. It's a report on on what the creature is or what it's done. It can sometimes be chilling. I like it. Yeah, I'd like to read a popular one. I think that would be good. If you have any suggestions for that Sci-Fi Saturday or Freaky Friday, whether it be a creepypasta or a just really weird fanfic or something, or some old short story or new short story, please send it my way. I'd really love to take your guys' suggestions and be able to read them out loud for you to the best of my ability. But heck yeah. So again, no stream on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I will miss you guys. I will miss you so much. But I'm gonna take a little breather. I think it'll be good. Tomorrow's my birthday, and we're gonna have some fun before the break. And then the break will happen. It'll come and go before you know it, before I know it, and I'll be back in action, ready to entertain and read some cool stories. All right, guys. Nice. Yeah, we pushed the stream with that third chapter more up to like my usual time frame, which is good. I'm grateful that idea came up. I think I was the one that brought it up, but I'm glad. Thanks, Past Mitch. You're welcome. Remember, it's important to thank yourself sometimes, you know? I hope that doesn't sound cheesy or silly, but it's important, you know? It's a part of that whole self-love thing. It's kind of like how I greet myself in the morning and say goodnight to myself at night. Yeah, like before I lay, or as I lay down to sleep, I go, "Good night, Mitch." And when I wake up, I'd say, "Good morning." Yeah, I don't know. It's something that has helped me, I know. Just kind of puts me in a better mood. I try to greet myself as I would any other, right? Especially if I wind up waking up in like a poor mood or something, I find myself like having sympathy for me, and and so I greet myself as I would someone who I feel would be having a rough time. I'd grant myself encouragement. It's an important thing. I felt it important to mention that, because love yourselves, dudes. Because I love you. And if you can't love yourself, if you can't believe in you, believe in the me that believes in you. Yes, I did take that from Gurren Lagann. And proud of it. Alright, guys. Yeah, I think that'll be about it. I'm going to start playing the outro theme here to lead us off into the end. I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow around, I think I'll start around 7 or 7:30, but be on the lookout for on my Instagram, Twitter, and Discord to see exactly when I'll be hopping on. Alright, I love you guys bunches. Be good, my wildflowers. Peace. Mwah. 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 Mwah.